Hi everybody, John here, All Miniatures Great and Small, and today we're going to be continuing our Warhammer Horus Heresy unboxing. This time we're looking at the Kratos Heavy Assault Tank. This is a new tank for 30k, and if I understand correctly, there's also rules for 40k, or will be rules for 40k for this as well. Very cool looking tank. We see here on the cover in the Sons of Horus, I assume that is, paint scheme. Flipping it over, we get a view of the tank. Looks pretty nice. We see that it comes with different weapons, some kind of battle cannon, a Volkite, or a Melta, different sponsons. You got a las cannon there, looks like heavy bolters, Volkite. Then you've got some painting recommendations, and then decal sheet for the two chapters, Imperial Fists and the Sons of Horus. Alright, let's crack this bad boy open and see what we get, shall we? I will say, I think this tank runs about $125 US. This was not sent to me by Games Workshop or anything like that. I did purchase it online via Games Workshop and spent my own money, so you know you're going to get an honest review here. Alright, so let's take a look at the pieces. We've got, looks like the bottom of the tank. Now, for those of you watching, please do stick around. I am going to assemble this, and we're going to talk about the assembled model at the end of the video and show you that. Maybe compare it to some other Imperial tanks in my collection. But we can see all the different kinds of weapons, the great detail, how these frames are just jam-packed with stuff these days. We're getting to the tracks, the side of the hull. That looks like the same frame, so probably just two different sides of the hull. Then we have, looks like, more weapons. These are probably for the side sponsons. And then you've got various hatches, cool stuff like that. Okay, that's the plastic. I don't do either one of these legions, so don't really care about that. We have the manual here. Instructions look pretty good. Games Workshop's been really good with their construction manuals lately. See there, you can see how those two tank tread pieces there attach. Turret assembly. Sponson weapon mounts. And looks like an optional dozer blade, which I know is very handy in Heresy, where you can get immobilized on difficult terrain or dangerous terrain. Alright, so there you go. That's a look at the contents of the box. I don't see any stats in this book for it, unless I completely missed it, but no stats. So no stats to be found in the box at all. You're going to have to use the Liber Astartes or the Chaos one to get the stats, apparently. But, you know, you'll need that for your army anyway, so I guess that's not too much trouble. All right, there you go. Let's go ahead and start assembling this bad boy. And we are back. So for you, it was just a second. For me, it was the better part of an afternoon, but the tank is pretty much done. So this thing looks great. I really like the way this looks. Since I don't have a turntable big enough to spin this around for you, just kind of giving you a view from different angles. The lineage for the Sakaran and the fell blade is quite obvious. This tank is meant to kind of fall in between them. So how was the assembly process? It was good. There was a lot of pieces to it, and it, but you know, especially for a modeler who's experienced, it wasn't bad at all. But for example, you know, we were talking before, the track pieces, you assemble those separately and then you stick them onto either side of the hull. This main hull was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 little pieces that kind of all glued together and wrapped around. And then the sides were kind of built up piece by piece by piece instead of being one piece. And I'm sure that's because this thing has lots of interesting and weird angles to it, which give it part of its appeal. But yeah, there is some work. It's not the easiest 40K kit or 30K kit, excuse me, to build, but it's a lot of fun, and you know, as long as you follow the instructions, it's pretty straightforward. As far as options, really you only get one set of sponsons. I put las cannons just because I have las cannons on everything else and I think they look cool. I imagine if you were really ambitious and found a way to magnetize these, you could swap out the different guns for the you know, sponsons, because there's like heavy bolters and volkites. But for me, you know, I play with my friends. If I did want to try something else, I'm sure we could just proxy it. Otherwise, they're pretty good. Now, these sponsons here are very adaptable. You just pull this out and plug in, you know, a heavy bolter or a las cannon, or I think there's a volkite option for that. I can't remember. I put the auto cannons in here just because I thought they would look cool as an example, and these do move as well. So that's very, you know, very good as far as adaptability or you know, different weapons. The turret is pretty much meant to be built as one of the 3 variants, and that's what you get. But I suppose you could, I'm going to take the turret off and we'll just talk about that part. I suppose you could magnetize this as well. So for example, the lid can lift off, and in theory you could swap out the battle cannon for the volkite charger or what have you, and then slap that bad boy back on. Now each one of these cannons has different back pieces though, so if you really want to play them exactly as they are in the assembly manual, you know, you're gonna have to figure out a way to do this, as well as swap out different back pieces. You know, there's this is the volkite, there's basically the giant cannon, and then there's the Melta version, have slightly different pieces to them. So I imagine there's you know, people much more ambitious than I that have figured all that out, but overall it's pretty simple. You know, I think doing this looks good. I mean, that top is pretty secure. Sorry, this is also removable. Doing it this way, I imagine when there's paint that'll be even firmer. Yeah, and then to mention that the top here, you can put a combi weapon, you can put a havoc launcher, or you could just put a regular old hatch. Those I imagine you could magnetize as well, or just set them on top and not really worry about it. There are pieces to make several kinds of combi weapons, but there's not enough to make every combi weapon. There's like 4 different combi weapon versions, but they only give you 2 bottoms, so you can make 2 out of those like 4 combi weapon versions. The Havoc launcher is its own piece. You could have also built a guy sticking out of the turret, you know, firing the guns manually, which would look pretty cool too. But anyway, you know, you kind of build this thing to make yourself happy and hopefully lead your forces to victory. So there you go. You know, the Volkite looks pretty cool. There's lots of good, cool detail on that gun, but I don't know. I think I like the long barrel of this one better. But you know, it really depends on your composition of your army and what you're trying to accomplish as far as what weapon you're going to want to take. I wouldn't recommend buying 3 of these so that you could have 3 different, you know, 3 different turrets to put on basically. But I don't know. I really like it. So let's talk final thoughts, shall we? So this Kratos assault tank is a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to painting it. It's something new for the Space Marines. Oh, I know. I was going to show you guys side by side with my Sikaran. So let's do that next. All right, here's our comparison with some other Ultramarine 30K vehicles that I have in my collection. Land Raider Proteus and just a regular kind of vanilla Sikaran. You can kind of see, let's look at these 2 first. Maybe I need to hold them up. How much bigger the Kratos is, which is pretty cool. And then we could see, compared to a Land Raider Proteus, obviously the Spartan's going to be much bigger than that, but you get the idea. All right, there you go, guys. That is a look at the Kratos assault tank for Horus Heresy 30K version 2, if you will. Again, it's a pricey tank. It is kind of in line with Game Workshop's current pricing practices, but if it's something you'd like, something kind of new or different you want in your 30K force, it's definitely an eye-catching tank. Like I said, I'm looking forward to painting it. I'm looking forward to getting it out on the field. All right, guys, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please do consider giving us a like and subscribe. Click that bell to receive notification when we release new content. If you want to see more 30K content from us, let us know down in the comments below. I really like 30K, so you know, covering it on the channel does have some appeal to me. So there you go, guys. Again, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.